the fact. All right, this is a contemplation and education and transformation experience where we will explore together the key energy blockages that get in the way from us, for us to fully open up our capacity, our potential. And I will weave a few threads today in this webinar. And before I start, I really wanted to ask you what brought you here. If you're not shy to share in the chat, you don't have to. I never will pressure you to share. But if you're open to share, what is the energy block or a repeating pattern that you face in life, and like what pulled you to this topic, why breaking free from karmic patterns became appealing to you. Let me know in the chat. I would love to hear your answers. And I will share with you that in this training I will okay, keep sharing your answers, because each one is really valuable, gives me a perspective of where to go in this training deeper. Since I often attract my peers and my fellow facilitators, maybe in this webinar you will hear something that will give you a new way to describe why people struggle to create real change in their lives, or why people struggle to manifest their deepest desires. And maybe you will be inspired to take what you learn here and recommit to your own energetic practices, right? Maybe it's going to be like it will ignite a fire in you that energetic healing and energetic practices is not something that we do once a year on a spiritual retreat, right? It's something that becomes a pulse, like a part of our spiritual practice, that we become impeccable in our vibration, not perfect, but more devoted to it, right? And maybe something that you will learn today that will just put pieces together, and some kind of an area in your life that doesn't move forward or feels congested. And oftentimes it's a human tendency to judge yourself for that, or to say, gosh, what's wrong with me? And when I was able to put pieces together and to link everything that was a struggle in my life, a wound in my life, it didn't just randomly happen to be there. It came from somewhere, right? So when I put this kind of a whole picture together, it felt really liberating. It felt like, oh my goodness, I see the light, and I see the way to empower not only myself, but many others. So I'm gonna turn up the volume. Thank you for asking. It is possible to turn up the volume. Hey, Mitch. Yes, you got it. Thank you for requesting the volume. This could be also my cover voice. It's more relaxed. It's not as dynamic. All right, darling. So that's my why behind continuous sharing these discoveries, because they are energetic discoveries, but the root, it didn't go up. Yeah, the root of these discoveries, they go all the way to spiritual root, ancestral, generational root. So how do we find kind of a new meaning to these particular themes in our life that keep unfolding, and how do we write a new story, right? How do we honor the ancestors that gave us life, that gave us an opportunity to take birth, and how do we go beyond the wounds and unlock the gifts. Volume is good and loud for Brita. Okay, perfect. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. All right. So thank you for your answers. Looking through all of them. Looking through all of them. Feeling crushed by karma. Codependent marriage. Yeah. So these blocks. Well, you're just gonna get closer to the screen like this. Closer to the screen. All right, it's time for a little bit of a slides, a little bit of a slideshow, just a little bit. Yeah, here we go, darlings. Find the slides really support us. You are at the Energy Blocks webinars, Breaking Free from Karmic Wounds. And every wound holds a treasure and a gift. So welcome. My name is Katerina. I teach, speak, and mentor. I'm a lover of ancient wisdom and all modern discoveries of quantum physics and energy healing. And the key transformational formula that beats through everything I do is from pain to power to purpose. I deeply believe every single painful experience that was a part of our life, we have a capacity to turn that pain into a new source of power. And it's a soul power that will fuel and guide us to the purpose. So what we'll cover today, why we struggle with repeating issues, challenging issues, and how to see them in a new light. Generational karma, as long as 4 generations back, some energy healers, indigenous medicine healers, they say we impacted 400 generations back, right? Core energy blocks, and if you're able to stay at the end, I also will offer you an energy clearing with unique spiritual quantum technology. And it's specifically going to be focused on, I will receive at the end, what will be focused on, the main theme that will support the group. Before we begin, let's set an intention for insight. Your time is precious. And something encourage you to be here. Set an intention for an insight. Say to yourself, I choose to receive an insight. An opportunity to see something in a new way, right? And then the second one, bring your full presence. I understand the temptation to multitask is very high. I invite you to bring the full presence if it's possible for you. After I introduce to you the energy perspective of how to go beyond the 75% conditioning that we inherit, I will also share with you an opportunity to go deeper, because next week I start a very unique training, and it's my certification and teacher's training for frequency shift modality. So I will create the space to go over that. If you are interested and inspired, you can ask me any questions about it as well. Who knows this divine being? The last fully embodied master luminary, the author of Autobiography of a Yogi, Paramahansa Yogananda. 100 years ago, he came to the West, and he brought the science, the spiritual science of self-realization. And one of my favorite quotes by Yogananda is this: you are born with about 75% of your life predetermined by your past. You will make up the remaining 25%. If you, through your own free choice and effort of will, do not determine what that 25% will be, the 75% will make the 25% for you, and you will become a puppet. That is, you will be ruled absolutely by your past, by the influence and effects of your past tendencies. This is why spiritual training is vital. Spiritual, energetic training is vital. Spiritual energy is energy. Profound quote from illuminated spiritual master, and this explains why people like Mozart or Beethoven are born with fully activated musical genius, because they stand on the previous incarnation. This also immediately raises a sense of responsibility and devotion for me personally to make this life count, because I know what I am creating in this life. I am conditioning 75% of my future incarnation. What a beautiful sense of responsibility and delight. Also knowing that whatever we transform this lifetime is not only for us, but for our lineage. And then when we realize the collective is our bigger body, it's also for the collective as well. Really powerful. Now, I will bring to you a contemporary. So this was a spiritual revolutionary Paramahansa Yogananda. I'm going to bring you a contemporary, a modern teacher, a leading world expert of inherited family trauma, Mark Wallum. He says the emotional history you share with your family began even before you were conceived. When your grandmother was 5 months pregnant with your mother, the egg that will eventually become you was already present in your mother's womb. That means you, your mother, and your grandmother all shared the same biological environment. Whatever your grandmother experienced, her traumas, her sadness, her grief, can become your emotional inheritance. Now think about your grandmother, the one that you loved and the one that you maybe had no connection with. And think about her life. And think about her dreams that have never been realized. And think about the time in history where she lived. All of my grandparents were children of orphans of war. They all lost their parents at 10 years old. And at 10 years old, they had to beg on the streets for food and for shelter. That traveled through DNA and became a part of my emotional history. And making these connections, that the irrational fears that sometimes that we feel, are they ours or do they belong to our ancestors, and what we can do about it. So I find this is really fascinating fact that we have this genetic transference of emotional history. And imagine what would be possible if more people knew about this. How would be possible for them to liberate themselves from self-judgment and guilt and thinking that something is wrong with them, and to detach and have this new perspective. Wow, it's a baggage that I took on that's called ancestral emotional history. Now we go deeper. We go deeper into this. Mark Wallum continues, unconsciously we relive our mother's anxiety. We repeat our father's disappointment. We replicate the failed relationships of our parents or our grandparents. Mark Wallum wrote a book called It Didn't Start With Me. He has a powerful interview on YouTube. I highly recommend everyone to read that book, not once, not twice, many times. So if we contemplate together that we are imprinted when we are in the womb with the first 9 months, 70% of the karmic imprinting happens in the womb. Very, very few women in our Western world have normal, peaceful, worry-free pregnancies. The majority of women in our Western world carry the child, battling silent anxiety? Will I be able to support this child? Am I supported? How will the future be? Can I trust the future? And the fears of our mothers, they travel energetically and they imprint our astral field, our emotional body, because we share everything with our mother. My world collapses 5 months into my mother's womb, where my dad hit a person while driving drunk, and my mom was pregnant with me, 5 months old. So when she got the news that my dad was taken to jail and she is all alone, pregnant, 5 months, while also has a 1-year-old toddler, and she is 21 years old. And her parents live on the other side of the country. So I could just imagine, I'm alone, I'm not supported, life is frightening, I will never be able to survive this, how can I keep going? That became the emotional environment that the fetus called Katerina was swimming in. And if I sit down with every single one of you, I am confident I can find a thread or a story when you open up and share that you took on something dense, something tragic, something difficult, right? And that becomes that wave of unconscious fear, of unconscious anxiety, unconscious worry. So this, if you take away this from this webinar and you start making connections, next time you become just unexplainably worry about tomorrow, worry about the future, did that worry was something that your mother felt? And the same thing about your father disappointment. Well, think about your father, right? And the shame and the guilt. What did he carry? Maybe he felt like he didn't really leave his mark. Or maybe he never experienced a true connection and intimacy in his heart. What were the disappointments that your father carried? And can you feel the connection? Can you sense the connection? The same thing with parents and the grandparents. So when I was guided to these discoveries, to me it was a revolutionary breakthrough, because I finally had something to sort through the many, many voices in my head, the many conflicting voices, the many conflicting desires. I was studying with one of the healers who was learning directly from Brazilian healers. And Brazil is a very famously known for a country of healers, country of mediums, country of spiritualists. Can't wait to go to Brazil. And according to their tradition, so just imagine an entire country, their thing is spiritual healing. It's like a common knowledge. Everybody's a medium, everybody's a psychic, everybody's a channel. That's the legacy. So they stand on many, many layers of embodied spiritual healing practices. They believe that 90% of our desires, our ideas, our plans, what we want in life is conditioned by the voices of ancestors. That is not even ours. We chase the dreams that are not even ours. How fascinating to have that connection, right? How fascinating to see what is it I'm chasing. Is that my dream, or did I borrow it? Or all these ancestors trying to unconsciously live through me? Is this helpful and interesting? How are you? Because there is a power on the other side, beloveds. Once we heal the wounds, what we get, we reclaim the strength of our lineage, the resourcefulness, the humor, the wisdom, the strength of your ancestors. We're reclaiming all of that every time we feel the pain, hold the wound, and say, thank you, ancestors. I am the pioneer you've been waiting for. I am the messenger you've been waiting for. I will be the one who will carry the lineage to the light. right? Okay. Okay, if you asking, I will keep going. Let's see what else I prepared for you. Let's next slide is, I found this, one of my favorite artists is a visionary artist, Alex Gray. His art transforms your consciousness. And he created this art, I'm sure sharing you a snippet that's called Hidden Chains. To me, karmic patterns that are unconscious, what does it mean unconscious? You can't see them. You simply feel like, I can't believe it's happening to me again. I can't believe this is showing up again. Oh my gosh, unconscious, right? So, hidden chains. What are they? Anxiety, fear, financial worries, depression, illness, unhappy relationships. Can all be forms of unconscious inheritance. And on the level of the soul, nothing is random. You didn't just picked a random body, a random lineage. Phew, that would be completely out of alignment with this divine order universe. On the level of the soul, you and I had a long conversation with our karmic team, and everything was architected and chosen precisely to serve the evolution and the progression of your soul wisdom. So the set of parents, the set of siblings, the country, the childhood conditions, right? Everything was architected and chosen in order for you to fulfill the potential of your soul and learn your lessons and ultimately fulfill your highest purposes, to be love. That's, I believe, the deepest purpose that we can all fulfill is to be love embodied, to be truth embodied, to be wisdom embodied. So before I go any further, I'd like to share with you with this photo. And the photo of me on the left is the year 2015, right before I was guided to ancestral healing work. You know, you see a woman that is drowning in sadness. And she is, she just keeps finding herself in experiences that that don't match the dream that she's holding inside of her. And she applies a lot of willpower and a lot of hard Russian work ethic. But the progress in her life, it's obvious, it's there with all the work and all the time and all the learning. But there is something holding her back. And then the picture on this side, on the right, this is me, year 2020. So this is 5 years later, where gradually these layers of karmic heaviness have been lifted and washed away, and a deeper and deeper repair took place. And a deeper integration. From my perspective, healing is a repair, is a return to wholeness, where all these parts of us, all these parts of our psyche is welcomed home. We can hold ourselves with tenderness and compassion. Can you see the difference on these two photos? Because, outside, her life is almost perfect, right? But inside, she's really struggling. And she doesn't understand why she keeps choosing particular man, why she keeps, just crumbling under addictions, why she has so many secrets that she's hiding from others. She doesn't trust people, right? And, the family history was really dense. As I shared in the email, I'll go through this briefly, but the biggest impact on my life was probably my relationship with my dad, because my dad has been struggling with alcohol, so addiction, heavy addiction all his life. My mom was a smoker all her life, half a pack of cigarette. So they were separated when I was not even 2 years old, with the family tragedy. My dad was driving drunk and hit two people when he was only 27 years old, and one person died on the spot. And the dreams of my dad died that moment, because at that time it was Soviet Union, and if you were sent to jail, you were marked. You know, there was like all good career opportunities were just taken away from you. You were kind of an outcast. And not only that, it's forever on your record. Not only that, nothing was provided, no therapy, no self-help. Religion and spirituality was taken away from people from communism. So imagine that impact, imagine that level of trauma where you're still a kid, you're 27, right? And you have a pregnant wife and a first child on the way. And your dreams and your life is just crumbling in one moment. And there is a reason why I want to describe this story, because when I was 26, so very close to the time where my dad had this freak accident, I experienced the freak accident. So generational trauma not only travels through addictive behaviors, patterns, it actually physically, you have this unconscious experience of you physically repeating a dramatic event of one of your parents. And I had a freak accident in 26 where I fell on my face on the marble floor, and my face was completely unrecognizable. And when I was digging through my family history, it was the same emotional experience. I lost my face. My father lost his face, his dignity, right? His sense of manhood, everything. And when I started tracking family history, it was a shocking discovery. You know, and this is where I knew it's really important to put as much time as is needed for me to start healing this, to start addressing this. And then what happened, big stuff to overcome, right? Big stuff to overcome. And then with my mother was just really, my mother was a kid when she gave birth to me and my sister, 22 years old. So her very big trauma happened when she was 7 months pregnant with my older sister. Her first man, her first love, walked out of her life, leaving her 7 months pregnant. Whew, imagine that, you're a 20-year-old. This is your first man, your first love, the father of your child. 7 months, he walks out, never to appear in my sister's life again. Impact that you do not recover from unless you have a team of support, tons of ayahuasca, psychedelics, right? So my mother never had that. Only she could do is to repress, right? So that's the background that I grew up in. And then my mom remarried 5 times. So I grew up with 5 stepdads, one a little bit more insane and a little bit more unpredictable than the one before. So emotional environment was hugely unstable, and there were cigarettes and vulgar and swearing and all of that. And so in order for me to start to heal, it's very confusing as a child, Dava. It's very confusing. You're receiving these messages about your worth, right? When you grow up in an environment like this, what do you believe about yourself? What do you believe you're worthy? Not much. You don't believe you're worthy that much. And whatever worth you think you have, you gotta unlovable, you gotta earn love, you gotta sacrifice yourself. So all of that was a lot to unpack, a lot to transform, a lot to heal. And you know, the beautiful testimony that I wanted to share with you is that we can heal our past. And I shared on my social media that last year my dad called me and we began talking again after 10 years of not talking to each other. My mom and I have like the most authentic relationship that we've ever had. So that repair is possible. But the first, when I left home, 10 years, I just couldn't even be around them. It was so intense to be around them. I deeply believe we can heal our past and we can transform and we can liberate ourselves from that conditioning, because 75% is predetermined by our past. So why I feel inspired to share with you all of this is because of the next slide. Because of the next slide, where the hope and faith is right here. Who knows Bruce Lipton, the pioneer of cellular biology and how our beliefs create our reality? He says, your beliefs become your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions becomes your habits. Your habits become your values. Your values become your destiny. So your beliefs, where do beliefs come? Our beliefs are formed first 7 years of our life. Our beliefs is all the energetic imprints, all the information that we suck in like little sponges, right? From the level of energy. And that creates the lenses through which we see the world. Is the world safe, unsafe? Who can I trust? What I am worthy of? I will skip through a few slides. Aurobindo said all problems are essentially spiritual. And this is one key idea that really changed everything for me. Key idea. What we don't clear or heal stays inside and grows bigger. That's why repression doesn't work. Because it all just grows bigger. Mitch says, what can you do when your parents have zero interest and even reject you? Unconditional love doesn't take two, it takes one. Mitch, if I were in your shoes, I simply would do the work on myself and I would become the field of love, and I would hold consistent field of compassion and forgiveness. And they may never accept, reject, or understand you this lifetime. That's their karma. That's their karma that they are choosing. You choose to talk to their higher self. And you choose to talk to your inner child. That's what I would do. That's what I have done when my dad have not talked to me for 10 years. I talk to his higher self. Where the possibilities lies, we are impacted most by these four things. And if you are my fellow leader and peer and entrepreneur and a teacher, this is really important for us to be aware that your clients, your students are impacted by this. The first one, as we said, this inherited family karmic imprints. It's stuck in the energy body, right? It conditions. Then the second one is blocked emotions. We live in increased emotional stress. A lot like what I see is happening is a great emotional awakening on the planet. But before that awakening can happen, so many people will feel overwhelmed by the emotions, because people will begin to feel more than they've ever felt, and they don't know how to navigate it. This is where a lot of guidance will need to be offered for people. Business and public leadership trauma. This is something that is also important to be aware, to energetically protect yourself. A business trauma is an experience where you, as a young entrepreneur, put all your chips on the table, put everything on this one bet, right? Maybe you're quite optimistic, a little bit naive, undercalculated your resources, and boom, you just lost it all. And that impact, maybe it was shame, maybe it was guilt, maybe it was unwise investment. If you have not cleared that energetically, it remains like a magnet in your aura. It can show up in a couple of times. It can show up like you hesitate and you don't trust your intuition. You don't really take bold action or risk. You begin to play too safe, right? Or you can't let it go. You regret that choice and that decision, and you go over and over that again and again, right? You beat yourself up. The path to success is the path that has failure and mistakes. And the more we can all collectively understand that, the more we can liberate ourselves from these unrealistic expectations that everything we touch will be successful. It won't. How many times the Edison had to fail before he invented the light bulb, right? So the more you're willing to experiment with new approach in business, the more you're willing to mess things up. And every mess is a holy mess. It's a sacred mess, because that mistake that gave you wisdom. You know, everybody wants wisdom. I've never met anybody who doesn't want to be more wise. But wisdom comes from foolishness. Wisdom comes from you being willing to be a fool, fall on your face in front of everybody. And the strength comes when you pick yourself up. And you say, God, I made such a show of myself, but I've learned a lot. And I am true to my heart, and I'm true to my vision, and I'm true to myself, and I'm going to pick myself up. And I'm going to refine my process. I'm going to heal this wound. I'm going to clear this impact. I'm going to practice my energetic discipline, right? Do you recognize, anybody recognize yourself in this experience? Am I alone in this? You know? I think it's really a time for all of us to give a voice to importance of mistake, the importance of failure. When the baby begins to walk, how many times it falls? And the baby gets picked up and it says, good job, you can take new steps. But it's not allowed for us as adults. Something is off with this picture. So I say we get to embrace our failure, because Yogananda said, Paramahansa Yogananda said, the season of failure is the most fertile time to plant the new seeds of success. Because you're more humble, you're more receptive, you're more attuned to your environment, you're maybe more tender in how you deliver your next venture, right? Less bravado, more devotion. I find that in myself really deeply. And then public leadership trauma, beloveds, we can't avoid it. The moment you take a stand for something, the moment you begin to voice, a perspective, and the moment you begin to speak your truth, sell your truth, it will be activating for somebody. There's 30 people who adore and resonate with you, and at least one who will throw a tomato. At least that's 30 to 1 is a decent ratio, right? if you can accept that, then know that part of your emotional nature will be impacted by rejection, by, attack, by somebody writing nasty comments, and it's not gonna feel good. It's never gonna feel good. Eventually, you're gonna build up this powerful, powerful immunity that grounded in the truth of your soul, and it's immunity to both flattery, because you know it can pass, and to criticism. So I recently increased my energetic discipline around protection. I practice very specific protection rituals and processes and disciplines because of that. Not because I'm trying to avoid somebody speaking badly about me behind my back. I can't please them all. But because I want to protect my inner child. And I'm here for the long game, like this is my calling, this is my dharma. I'm not turning around. I've gone quite far by now. And if you believe in your message, if you're doing something that it's your calling, you also, your soul will guide you to become more disciplined with your energetic mastery. So you are not that easily stopped. And I will give you a specific example, because these public leadership trauma can also come not only from humans in form, right? Not only from naysayers, not only from people who are, jealous or intimidated by you, or simply they have nothing else to do but just write comments or attack, right? But there can also be a psychic attack from the astral world. And I've experienced that this last summer. It was very intense, very, very intense. And it's for real. I can share with you that a couple of my allies have been going through very, very traumatic experiences where they will have like a full-blown stalkers, right? Like a full-blown stalkers, like somebody falls in love with a public leader and like, you are my twin flame, you are the one for me, and no boundaries can stop that. And what happens when unconscious person blinded by their illusions feels rejected? They begin to turn around and attack a character, right? And I have heard this happen, I've seen this happen. One of the spiritual leaders that my friend studies with, like, he's really big movement, spiritual healing, and he's been dealing with that a lot, like death threats and all of that. I want to name this because so we've first of all become aware that it comes with part of this process when you are in a public leadership. Second, have more compassion for our leaders. Have more compassion for our leaders who actually lead. They are not perfect. They will make mistakes. But these leaders, who inspire us, whom you learn from, who I learned from, they are more vulnerable than we think. And they carry more heavy burden on their shoulders than we think. And I really wanted to name that because it's rarely said. I remember watching Richard Rudd, the author of the Gene Keys, and he said, we don't really need to call out new leaders. We first get to acknowledge those who already lead. And I said, wow, thank you. Going to my phone, who can I acknowledge? Who can I acknowledge today? Thank you for your leadership. I know it's hard. Thank you for leading. So this was important to be named. So one of the reasons why I received inspiration to train teachers and offer certification program is to empower more people to support leaders who are vulnerable, who don't have that energetic mastery, energetic protection, energetic support. And they could really use that, you know? So just wanted to plant that seed, beloveds. And then we have another struggle, and it's a collective fear and stress. Stress is needed for change. Without stress, without the build-up of agitation, we will never turn around this mess that we're in. So how can we support ourselves, knowing that the collective stress will continue to rise, continue to rise, continue to rise? You and I are part of the collective. We share collective as our larger body. So now another reason why you and I become more energetically devoted, right? Energetic cleansing techniques every single day. That will help you and I lead stronger, live better, and to actually see the new future that is trying to be born right now, and how we are incredibly important fractals of that future. So collective fear and stress. All right, let's fly above the through these. Okay, this is how psychic attachments feel. I'd like to speak to you on this. So many people have no idea this exists. It's not like demons or devils attacking you. I don't believe in a devil. I think it was a very, very smart invention from a particular religion. But I do believe in a low astral entities, because on the astral world, every desire takes its shape and form. So for example, anger, we don't see anger on the physical plane, but on the astral plane, it takes form. It's an entity that feeds. When somebody is angry, right? They continue to attract more and more angry situations to them. Why? Because they literally have entity called anger that accompanies their life. So psychic attachments, they come from low astral fourth density entities. When we go to sleep, when we have nightmares, if we ever have nightmares, we are in a low astral section. We have higher astral. It's the beautiful celestial realms where we see exquisite beauty. We have low astral, right? Do you remember as a child, have you had nightmares? I had so many nightmares as a child because of the family environment. And things chasing me and all of that. And it was just, and the moment I got away from my family, nightmares stopped. So it can also be from negative souls, and negative souls is a term. It's basically a souls that consciously choose serve the darkness, serve the forces of destruction. Discarnates, it's lost souls, right? Who did not make a transition to the light. They got lost in the astral plane without the body, so they become ghosts. They become the beings in the haunted houses. We get to know this, right? If we are in Brazil, this is a common information. They're like, yeah, of course, we know this. We clear the house every single day because of this. So I wanted to share this with you because the psychic attachments often is the hidden root behind addictions. I'm no stranger to addictions. There was a chapter in my life where I was addicted to a dissociative drug for 2 years of my life. That's when I was going down like really fast. I was mission self-destruct. I didn't want to live. I wanted to die. So for 2 years, I daily user. And I was absolutely possessed by an entity, right? It was an entity that was controlling me. And through that addiction, it was also a part of my soul evolution, a part of my soul journey, is because through that addiction, I was able to find compassion for my father, who has been an addict, right? And only when I dove into the depth of despair of what it feels like to be an addict, completely ruled by an addiction, boom, breakthrough, awakening, my higher self stepped in. It's a story I'll never forget. I was high as a kite, totally possessed by an entity of this addiction. And my higher self just walked in as a being, right? And I heard a voice, strong voice. Enough, child. You had your fun. Your mission is waiting for you. And with his trembling hands, I took 4 pounds of that drug. Imagine, 2 pounds, I don't remember. A lot in a bag. And just dump it in a toilet. Went cold turkey. And that was the beginning of my recovery. Beginning of, wow, can't run away from pain, can't suppress it, can't pretend that it's not there, because if I do, I am becoming an addict. That's it, right? So my dear friends, addiction doesn't have to be so extreme for us to be possessed by entities. Every time we eat half of the cake, a pizza, every time we can't control, we stuff ourselves with food, what happens? We actually feed an entity. It's not an entity that's called pizza entity or cake entity. It's an entity that feeds on guilt that you and I are going to feel afterwards. You can't eat half a cake and not feel guilt. You can't drink 2 bottles and not have guilt. You can't spend 2 hours with pornography and not feel guilt. Impossible. So, do you see how much work we have to do? Because the collective is waking up to all of this. All of this that gets to be healed and transformed. Every time I'm like, this webinar is going to be light and easy. Well, we got to go to these depths to understand the importance of this work, right? Of how, if we give away our energy to all these patterns that drain our power and nothing is left to create with. Psychic attachments. So 5 keys for negative energy attachments. Unexplained negative emotions, feeling constantly drained, depressed, anxious, and overwhelmed, fear, worry, and anxiety. You feel those? You gotta clear your energy. You gotta receive a healing. You gotta tap into your energetic tools. Disrupted sleep patterns, frequent nightmares, restless sleep, waking up feeling exhausted despite getting enough sleep. Absolutely. And then addictive behaviors, as I said, obsessive food, obsessive sex addiction, obsessive, I'm checking out Netflix, sugar, alcohol, anything that becomes a habit that you become a slave to, and it leads to guilt and shame, boom, you create it. You created an agreement with the astral entity. That's it. And it begins to influence your thoughts, influence your mind, influence your energetics. Whew. Imagine if you're working with clients, my dear friends, if you're working with clients on any kind of area, business, leadership, spirituality, imagine if you're able to address that. If you're able to lovingly but truthfully to help them unravel these huge knots, how much progress your clients would be able to make, right? How much progress you would be able to make. And this is why I believe energy work is a key component no matter what you do in life. Yes. Okay. So we're going to go a little bit faster. And eventually the buildup can lead to an energy crisis. I see this collectively. This is happening collectively. So if you are here to serve the collective, this is important for us to prepare, because then you're asking yourself, okay, this is going to happen. This is going to build up. How can my gifts and my skills and my leadership can alleviate that? What can I do to support and be of service? Collective apathy, inertia, melancholy, anxiety, panic attacks, insomnia, broken sleep, chronic fatigue, loss of interest in life. Are you ready for solution? Yeah, Mitch, every day, energy healing every day for you. Yeah. And also, if you struggle with sleep, your mental body doesn't stop. Your mind doesn't stop. You got to find a very strong evening routine that becomes more powerful than your morning routine. And yeah, all right. Are you ready for solutions? This is really powerful. Energy medicine is a solution, and my bring the solutions. Rosalind, energy medicine, my dear friends. Energy medicine, because Aurobindo said all problems are spiritual problems, problems of spirit. All problems are problems of spirit, problems of energy. All right, I have brought you some really awesome quotes that will lift our spirit back on the rise. We can do something about this mess. The next big frontier in medicine is energy medicine. It's not the mechanistic parts of the joints moving. It's not the chemistry of the body. It's the understanding for the very first time how energy influences how we feel. Spiritual body, emotional body, directly linked. Our spiritual body is troubled. Our emotions are all over the place. In every culture and in every medical tradition before ours, healing was accomplished by moving energy. This is why we feel so lost, right? Because we lost touch with the most primordial modality, by moving energy. And then Nikola Tesla gave us a powerful clue. He was so ahead of his time, right? If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. We are the universe. We are the universe. And then, now that we know, we get to clear a lot and continue to clear and come back and repair and come back to wholeness and reclaim our original worthiness. What is the formula for us to actually create and activate our potential? Here's the clue. I wish I could tattoo this. I still have space on this arm. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want. Match the frequency of the reality you want. And you cannot help but get that reality. It cannot be no other way. This is not a philosophy, this is physics. Oh, this is a wrong one, because I don't duplicate the slide, but it is Albert Einstein right here. Wow, let's take this in. If I don't feel worthy, if I don't feel abundant, if I don't feel life supports me, I will never create it, because I cannot match the vibration, right? This is why we go back. What are the beliefs? Beliefs create our thoughts. Thoughts create our words. Words create our actions. Actions create our destiny. So bring it all back here. Again, we're back into this powerful word frequency. We're right here. We're back into this powerful word frequency. Frequency is a pattern of information, right? It's something that we emanate, something that we embody. And I wanted to share with you that this morning when I woke up, one of my secret manifestation techniques when I wake up, before I start my day, before I do anything, I lay under my blankets and I begin to code. I encode my mind with the preferred belief statements, and I say, I am so grateful to be so deeply supported. Thank you, Mother. This universe is a mother, right? I encode that into the fabric of my being. Nobody gets my attention before this encoding takes place. I say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. What do I believe about my reality? Oh, I'm so held. I'm so held. Yes, there is so much to do today. There's so many things to address, and there is so many people to talk to. And gosh, I'm spinning so many projects. But before I go into that, what do I know to be true about my reality? I'm so supported. Oh, I'm so grateful. I'm healthy. Oh my gosh, I'm healthy. I'm so grateful for that. Right? Encoding, encoding, encoding. Quantum healing, just a little bit. It happens outside of time. This is why whenever I facilitate quantum healing, energy healing, I take people outside of their heads, outside of their sensory body experiences into the quantum realm. In order for us to heal any part of our life, we get to transcend linear time and to repattern information. We can change the core patterns by changing its information. And what else I wanted to share with you? The solution. The prophecy that came about 100 years ago by Ascended Master and the teacher of humanity. So who are the Ascended Masters? If you're completely new to this conversation, I don't want to assume everybody has a mystical knowledge. Ascended Masters are the group of higher consciousness teachers for this planet. And they have incarnated on the planet just like you and I. And they finished their human journey, many cycles of it, until they came to full enlightenment, full self-realization. And they activated their rainbow body and they went through physical ascension, right? So they took, now they exist in a light body, and they are teachers of humanity. One of them, there is 7 ascended masters, 7 ascended rays. One of them is Saint Germain. And I love Saint Germain because he is a teacher for ascension of humanity. He says when humanity has finally crossed the threshold of ascension, its consciousness will be ready to receive the new healing tools in the shape of color, sounds, and numbers. Once they ascend their consciousness and cross the shift without fear, these tools will be active and ready to be used by the healers of Earth for the benefit of humanity and all sentient beings. What is he talking about? Those of you who've been through my frequency shift as a student, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? We're talking about repatterning our entire morphogenetic field, and we work with ritual, intention, sound, color, sacred geometry. Sacred geometry is our original language of the universe. In ancient mystery schools, before you were given the knowledge that leads you to immortality, you would study for years with sacred geometry, with these incredible language, right? So our aura, our energy doesn't lie. Our vibrational resume, it's a broadcasting station. That's the first thing that people feel about us when they meet us. The importance of doing energy work. And a healthy aura is magnetic. It's filled with life force. It has aligned wheels. Energy chakras are called wheels of power, or wheels of light, right? and you're staying connected to the quantum web. So last year, when I was going through my own initiation and my own purification, trust me, I go through them consistently. They're intense every single time. I was going through one cycle, and my guides came in and they said, the only thing you get to teach this year again and again is to remind people how to connect to the web, how to stay connected to the web. And I said, okay, got it. And to me, it was so simple. Remind people, hey, everyone, connect to the web. Have you connected to the web today? And then I had a conversation with like hardcore mystic as myself. It was a meeting of the mind, and he was a neuroscientist who is also a mystic. And I was like, my guides told me, connect people to the web. He says, yeah, it's a great guidance, but people's circuitry is disconnected. So they don't know, they don't have the signal. The signal is not going. It's like a Wi-Fi is out. How can you connect to the internet if your wiring is broken, right? I was like, oh my gosh, that's the problem. And that brought me to go all galactic last year. I want to show you our biocircuitry, because this is a key missing piece that, you know, I often just couldn't find the language to describe this process. I'm like, how do I describe this galactic information? That it's all about reconnecting our biosuit, our biocircuitry, so we channel more source consciousness. And it's basically like, this is our circuitry, right? This is all lit up biofield that streams information, that downloads solutions from quantum field. And this is how ancestral stuff plays out to it. Our genius is hidden under layers of karmic issues, under these conditioning and the patterns and the blocks. Like, it's trying to break free, right? It's trying to break free. This divine blueprint that every single one of us has is underneath this karmic sludge. We have two basic strands of DNA on a physical level. But we also have 12 multidimensional spiritual DNA. And in every spiritual tradition, whether it's Tibetan Tantra, where they talk about the rainbow body, whether it's Kabbalah, whether it is the Sufi tradition, whether it is, you know, Gnostics, they all talk about a very unique body that we can activate, so we become universal humans. We begin to stream information from the quantum field, right? We have never been designed to live in the life of struggle, the life of limitation, the life of silent despair, that we can't go beyond our conditioning, that we can't go beyond our circumstances. That has never been the original design. The original design is for us to be a multidimensional human who downloads solutions, ideas, has the creative capacity to turn those solutions and ideas into beautiful creations. Our life has been meant to be like art. So this is why I am fired up to keep being a voice for this healing modality, where you go and you address, you know, how do I repair my biofield? How do I reconnect my circuitry? Oh my gosh, I'm operating on 2% of my potential. How do I resurrect my DNA? You know, I started doing this DNA resurrection, activation, reboot process in 2015, and it took that innocence of the heart, right? The skeptic is the hijacker that says, oh my gosh, is it true? But, you know, I see this profound transformation, and I say, this is because of the energetics, because of this powerful reclamation of divine blueprint within. Okay, I'll go a little bit galactic with you. We're almost done, dear ones. So dear ones, will be a replay. No, not gonna be a replay. I'm just kidding, Candy. maybe you're welcome, Rebecca. Maybe you'll be a replay for like a few hours. So, what I would like to introduce to you, really briefly, before we go into a healing, I'd like to share with you, with your permission, a little bit about this upcoming training that I'm hosting starting next weekend. It's a beautiful banner, was designed by amazing designer of mine. And so I have this process called frequency shift that I've been teaching since 2017. I remember teaching it only once and I just said, I said everything on this topic. I don't want to teach it again. And then I taught it again and I was like, oh my God, there's so much more I can say on this topic. And every time I teach it, it comes through in a beautiful, profound, deeply transformative way. And now I received this inspiration to actually offer it as a deeper training, as a certification training. So my first round of teachers can take my methodology, can take the tools and actually plug it in into their existing practices, can teach it through workshops, can teach it in person, teach it online, and begin taking this methodology to their community. And the reason why I want to do it is, of course, impact. I want to expand impact. And I am a creator who teaches a lot of different topics. The maximum, I'll teach this program twice a year. And it's just kind of like, it's sad for my heart knowing that this curriculum could take on new wings and go to communities that can really, really use it. So that's my reason number one, impact. Reason number two, I have noticed through my own experience in studying with many different healers that people heal the fastest in a group setting. People visualize better in a group setting. People manifest better in a group setting. Why? Well, think about when you do a group healing experience, every person brings a biofield. Every person brings a team of guides, team of masters that they work with. And no matter how much I love one-on-one transformational process is very powerful. The group has a unique power, a unique potency, unique beauty. So those people who are drawn to this experience, they will be able to, first of all, teach it one-on-one and take individual clients through these process and then take it to the group. You can also go through this process for your own energetic mastery because there will be 5 layers of training. The first one is how do you work with your own biofield? How do you strengthen it? How do you supercharge it with source consciousness? Then the second is how do you quickly identify karmic blocks, like what your client, what the person that you work with really is struggling, what questions you ask, how do you guide them through the process of healing and repair, right? And then the third one is I go deep into psychic protection and very simple processes that you can use to protect yourself and to amplify the field of protection around your business, around your life, right? And then we have a very unique process of how to clear scarcity and lack and how to activate an inner abundance. As Albert Einstein said, you can never manifest what you are not a match to. So it's an inner work. Abundance is an inner work. And then the last one is how do you go from living in stress and pressure and on everybody's schedule to becoming a master of flow? How living in flow, dancing with your creativity. So all of that comes with a certification program. These are the codes that, the codes to clear and to heal and to transform. And the way it's delivered, it's one certification weekend that starts next week. And then we have 5 follow-up weeks of actually practice, where you give healings to others and you facilitate a process. And I offer you my support and the feedback to help you integrate this and be ready. So that was a fast presentation of a program, wouldn't you say? So you can get the details. You can get the details on my. Will there be physical manual eventually, darling? Eventually, it'll be a physical manual. For now, it's going to be a digital manual. My first cohort gets the coolest stuff. I always say my first pioneers always get the coolest stuff. Um, Eventually, I'm going to have a physical manual, and eventually, I'm going to host these trainings in person. For now, it's the virtual one, and there's going to be many secret gifts and bonuses that have not been announced. The investment for this program is $2,200, 22, or you can choose a payment plan of 12 months for $197, which is pretty badass if you ask me. You get to go through Kajabi for that. So this is all about the program, and then you all become the first certified teacher. You can also go through this process one-on-one with me. It's also an option if you prefer to go through this one-on-one. Jump in with both feet. And then when you pass the training, and if we both feel you are ready, you will also be featured on my website as the first certified teacher of a frequency shift process. Let's go global with this baby. That's my presentation of this new delightful experience that I'm offering you. Now, let's experience the work. The reason I gave you so much education, my dear ones, is because a conscious mind needs to understand what the heck is happening. You know, in the past, I would just take people into a ritual right away. It was very effective. But I would feel the conscious mind resistance. I would feel conscious mind disbelief, like, oh, yeah, I heard this before, but I don't really buy into this. So to give this conscious mind, which rules a lot over here, a beautiful intellectual candy and understanding, actually gives an opening to subconscious mind. And this is why I gave you so much education at first. I think education is very important, right? Very, very important. And if you feel inspired to go through this training, you will also learn how to educate people. Because when people understand the why, they are willing to do the work. If they don't understand the why, they're like, I have energy work, I don't know. Do I need to shift it? I don't know. I'm just gonna keep eating half of the cake. I'm just happy here. I'm just getting high every night. You know what I mean? But you stack enough reasons, people are like, oh my gosh, I am going downhill. I gotta turn my life around. And that's what we get to do. We get to speak truth to people's hearts, speak truth to our own hearts, and say, let's turn this around. You can create a beautiful life for yourself, no matter where you come from. And now let's go do a process. Let's go do a process. And what we're going to do, we're going to work with the code of awe. This is one of the technology that I use in frequency shift, created by one of my dear allies, Yvonne de la Flor. She channels these sacred geometry mandalas, the healing mandalas, and we're going to use it in a different way and in a unique way that I've never done before. We're going to use it to heal your field from any business, leadership trauma, any rush decision in the past that you may still regret. Let me hold on. Fear to be visible because you're afraid to be harmed socially. Okay, what else? Yeah, that was a great. Fear of lack. There is never going to be enough. There is not enough clients. There is not enough opportunities. There is not enough time. I'm too old. Oh, I'm too old. I'm not attractive. Let's clear this shh out. Let's clear that out. And we also going to verify the work together. I'm going to pour a little bit more kava. I tried not to use offensive language in my webinars. SHIT. Let's clear that out. It's so fascinating because it's so challenging for me to swear in Russian, my native tongue. It feels jarring. In English, it's because it's my second language. It's not a big deal. Like this, gangster wakes up. Oh, okay. It's so funny, right? So funny. Let's see. So this is a beautiful mandala. And you know what clears is our intention. Kyle says, don't suppress the inner gangster. Thanks, Kyle. Thanks for encouraging my inner gangster to come out. I was in the school of hard knocks. I learned everything on the streets. So let me show you a beautiful code. It's actually a code that comes from Saint Germain. It's so pretty. Time for quantum healing. So this is a beautiful mandala, right? So imagine this is created with deep love and deep presence and meditation, and encoded the energies of grace, mercy, and forgiveness and miracles. Excuse me, miracles, freedom, love, and justice. So whoever has done you wrong in your life, whoever hurt you, this code will begin to bring a new trust that there is a universal karma, that you don't need to seek revenge. It never works. Universal karma will handle that. You get to come to alignment. You get to come into coherence, right? In order to be in the flow with the universe. So this brings harmony, ease, connection to the divine, and it connects you to your crown chakra, where the conversation with the divine is, right? So Yvonne created this code for one of my masterminds that I used to lead, Satori Mastermind. So she gifted me this code. So all we're gonna do before we begin, dear ones, we're gonna start practicing breath. So if you're ready for this clearing, I'm gonna do this. If you're ready to receive a healing, would you type yes? So we have a full consent and agreement. Beautiful. It's very gentle. It's loving. It's loving and gentle. It's healing. Whew. So I'll teach you how to, first of all, assess your energy now, because we stirred the intellect, right? So probably your mental body is very active. And we're going to scan that first, and then we're going to return to the code. So let's do a calming breath to begin to come back to the moment. So you can close your eyes, take a deep breath through the nose, and hold, and blow out like you're just blowing out the wish to the universe with gentleness and love. Pause, and one more. And hold, feel your body, feel this present aliveness, and blow it out like a kiss to the universe. Feel the softness, feel how soft your energy can be. And one more. Hold, feel your power. Feel the power that is moving through you, the power of the universe. And blow it out softly, feel your softness. Now create a grounding cord. You can do it in a variety of ways. You can visualize little windows or doors open up in the soles of your feet. And they just open, easy. And you begin to release, just give a command, an intention for your energy body to begin to release any excessive energy that you don't need. And with your inner eye, with your eyes closed, I invite you to scan your energy body. And your energy body is that silhouette that goes around your physical body. I just want you to notice its size. Is it close to your physical body? Is it a little bit further away? Is it a lot far away? Notice its size. If you can perceive the color or fluctuations, anything that you can see, you don't need to fix it, you just simply observe. Now, next, go up to your head area and simply scan your mind, your brain waves. Is it active? Is it thinking about something? Is it already in the rush to go? Just notice what's happening there with the mind. Beautiful. Now, again, no fixing, no changing, simply observing. Now, before we interact with the code, let's invite your higher self to make a full contact with your incarnated body. Visualize this pillar of light coming through your crown chakra, feeling your entire spine. Your spine becomes a pillar of light. See, perceive, imagine. Now we're going to work with universal healing golden energy. It's the very high frequency angelic energy. You can work with a mist. Visualize this golden mist begins to descend on your being. This could be a mist of grace, a mist of good fortune, a mist of benevolence. Nothing to do, simply invoke and receive. This is preparation. Now we're going to do work with the code. So open your eyes and take a look at this beautiful healing mandala. And begin to interact with this mandala by looking at the center and soften your gaze. Soften your gaze until it becomes blurry. Is the code looking at you or are you looking at the code? Who knows? But have an experience with this technology. Begins to breathe, communicate, transfer its healing energy. Now when you feel you got the visual, close your eyes. And imagine this code is in front of you and it begins to spin. And it has these magnetic properties. The more it spins, the more it just sucks out of your energy field whatever doesn't belong to you. The imprints, the impact, the wounds, the blocks. And the code is spinning horizontally, clockwise in front of you, clearing and healing your field as much as possible for you at this moment. Hold an intention to release. Your intention is what does the work. Release small ideas about yourself. Release unconscious beliefs that you are not worthy. Release that the world told you you need to compete and fight your way through to succeed. Release all of these beliefs. Release the fear of standing in your power, sharing your voice, being authentic and natural and true in your integrity. Release the fear of outshining your relatives, your family lineage, going beyond them. Release the guilt. Now move the code. Now it's on your left. It's horizontally spinning on your left side, clearing your mother's lineage as much as possible right now. The wounds of the mother, the anxieties of the mother, how difficult it was for her to trust. Or maybe she was worried that she's not going to be a good mom. Maybe she judged herself. Maybe she was underprepared. Whatever was the story. Set an intention to receive the repair. To have a compassion for your parent. Compassion for her story, for her maybe being completely lost in the character. Hurting you deeply. This is a moment to have mercy. To evolve your own soul through compassion, through understanding, through forgiveness. Now the code is going behind your back. It's spinning behind your back, clearing your past. Your past was beautiful. Every pain, every victory, every joy, every experience. Even if you take away one chapter, the whole book will fall apart. Your past was beautiful. Let's clear regrets, clear shame, clear guilt, clear secrets, clear self-judgment. You're so worthy. You've always been worthy. You've been born worthy. You're worthy. Clearing the past. Now the code is moving to the right. Your father's lineage. The man who was there for you. The man who was never there for you. You know, that soul that also played a character. That soul is also an incarnation journey. Clearing the fractures. Visualize the code spinning. Clearing your field. Memories come up, let them come up. Emotions come up, welcome them. You know, the DNA of this man you carry, whether you know him or not. Send mercy, send compassion, send forgiveness. At the level of higher self, he's so proud of you, who you were able to become against all odds. Now visualize the code spinning all around you, energizing your biofield, reconnecting the circuitry. Set an intention to reconnect your spiritual DNA so you can channel more of divine love, divine wisdom, divine truth. Because it's your time. The time has never been more right. There is nothing to wait for. The time is now. Now connect to your heart chakra and extend this vibration of love into all 4 directions. Just for a moment, forget that you are a body, that you are human. For a moment, feel yourself as energy. You exist in the ocean of energy. How does that feel? To be connected to all, to be nobody, to have no identity, to be everything. Feel this coherence, this joy, beauty of coherence. Allow yourself to be moved by that. Allow yourself to feel things deeper. This is your natural state, the state of limitless, divine perfection. Now come back to your human. Feel yourself as a body. Wow, wow, what a beautiful, interesting, fascinating character. What a story, what a movie, what a play, what a script. Fascinating. Back to the quantum field. Feel yourself as a field. That's the game. You are both. The game of incarnation. Take a deep breath, and on exhale with a sigh. I'll set intention to your spirit guides and your healing guides to oversee this healing that we just initiated. That in the times of upcoming days and weeks, you are provided with support and guidance to move forward with a new vibration, new healing. Now, before you open your eyes, I want you to verify your work. I want you to take a note of your aura, of your energy body. How does it feel? First, take a look at its size. If you can't perceive on the inner planes just yet, then sense its size. Sense the change of lightness. You can see colors. You can see your spirit guides dancing. We all have different abilities on inner planes, and we all can develop them. Notice if you feel more grounded. And to me, grounded is this. Grounded equates, I am grateful to be here. Notice if you feel more grateful, if you feel more inspired, if you feel more connected, that the healing took place. And you showed up for yourself to receive it. Take a deep breath in. And you can return when you're ready. I always get so moved emotionally. Yeah. Kanti, then you are meant to receive it energetically. Yeah. A lot of times you don't even need to hear me to receive it. Right? So powerful. The future of all healing is energy healing. We are energy. So, yes, dear ones, you are welcome. You are welcome. So you will receive, let me know what you felt. Did you notice the difference in your aura? Did you notice the shift in your energy field? Lightning in the field, right? So now with that lightning in the field, what you will attract? New creative ideas, new opportunity, right? Asatya, create lighting in the field. Wow. It's a huge shift. Massive difference, said Sarah. Sarah, good to see you. Oh, lit up and glowing, right? I love this work so much. And when the masters come in, all of your spirit guides showed up. And if you'll expand it, I have a slight headache. Kandi, headache is okay. Drink a ton of water and put your hands into salt. So it could be just a really high vibrational energy that you're not familiar with. Yes. So physical, if it's an evening in your space, rest, go ground, right? Eventually you become like energetic Tai Chi master, working with the energy and moving through it. And yeah, you're so welcome, Donna. Your story is really powerful. Healing is possible. Yes. Yeah, Becky says hyper aware of my heartbeat. That emotional body, right, is moving, feeling lighted, more supported, more expansive. Thank you for expanded. So, a little bit of a guidance. You may see a change in your dreams, right? Since we created quite a lot of openings, your communication through the dreams might increase. It's totally normal. Journal. And if I planted a seed of curiosity and a fascination about this world, about this quantum technology, then my work is done. And a follow up, oh, Jenny says, beautiful. I've never seen my aura as the color green before. Thank you. You're so welcome. So, yes, yes, we are born worthy. I'm going to send you a link right now. 1 second. Um, it is here. Love this work. Love this work. Love this work. Always moves me to tears. So you will receive a follow-up email eventually, soon, today, where I'll send you the ways to go deeper. This is a direct link to frequency shift teacher training that if you feel called, if it's your time, if it's your moment, if you don't want to reinvent the wheel, if you have a challenge putting curriculums together, I know a lot of gifted healers have that challenge, then you'll have a curriculum that you can take people through. And you can do it with a group or you can do it one-on-one. And also I have a frequency shift process where you can go as a student. Now it's available as a self-study. It's just as fun as live, you know? The next time I teach it live, probably going to be in March. And, what I'm learning now is really challenging for me to say it will happen. The spirit says it's going to happen in March. We're going to go for it. The dates are there. But for now, it's available as self-study. And if it's still in alignment with the field to go through it in March, I will be happy to have you as a student, as a receiver of these vibrational healing energies. And if you'd like to dive in, it's available. Hannah says, this was very powerful. A lot going on. So much new information. Thank you again. The price for the self-study is double. And it's $44.44. Yes, you have undivided attention where I can offer you my refinement, but like what specifically you get to refine and improve. And yeah, and it's the same, a weekend and then you're gonna go one-on-one. So you can step into facilitation much faster than a year. This year, I feel like I will be bringing more short curriculums. So, yes, beloveds, and if anybody, yeah, absolutely, Brita. They are absolutely eligible for training. Thank you. That's a really good question. Yes, absolutely. And you will go through the certification, and the moment you join, I actually offer you teach frequency shift, so you can watch some modules, but it's not required because what I'm gonna do in a teacher's training, I'm gonna teach you techniques. It's not about, okay, teach this, you're gonna have the information, but it's really about the techniques of how do you uh, clear somebody's aura, right? And how do you identify a curse or energetic stagnation? How do you put protection onto somebody's field? Really, really technique based. And then I also love introducing everything I've learned through years of facilitation group experiences online. There's an art to it, right? And you get more adventurous with your style, the more confident you become. But in the beginning, I found like if only I had somebody who would give me the core pieces of how to facilitate trainings online in a way that is, that's deeply transformative, and how not to use your energy. So this is going to be a huge piece that I'll be teaching. Whenever you do energy healings, you never use your energy. Otherwise, you will burn out and you will be fatigued. We work with energy of masters and healing masters and your own team of guides. How incredible to know that you don't need to use your energy for healing. It's not required. I'm so grateful. Yay. Yay. I love you. Practice time, right? There's practice time. There's a beautiful container, and it's going to be amazing. And you get the cool certificate. And I go to, Sharon says, I go to sleep. Goodbye for now. It was really great. Thank you, Sharon, so much. And yes, dear ones, and eventually for my teacher training for my first cohort of teachers, eventually I also am gonna offer you some like business webinars, like what do you teach to actually bring new students for this work, right? Things like that. My first cohort always gets the best cool stuff. Oh, I feel all grown up, you know. I received this vision for teacher training in 2018, and I didn't feel ready. You know, I really had to sit and be with it and embody it. And this year it's time. So thank you, everyone. Do you have any questions? I'm gonna stay and to answer any questions. It can be about the program, but it doesn't have to. You can ask me any questions. External headphones, MacBook Air speakers. Ah, no, it's like this. How about this audio? How about this audio? Is it better? I just switched louder. I switched to my camera. Um, yeah, Daphne. Daphne, do you feel it's important to have worked deeply on all five of the hidden obstacles to be ready for this course? Where do you think one should be on the healing journey? This is a really powerful question. You know, it's so interesting because when you hold space, you're not using your own energy, and you don't need to be perfect or fully self realized to be a space holder. If you have the process, every time you hold space and facilitate a healing, you go through healing, which is actually a really profound realization that I've had. You know, like somebody commented on the glow. I really believe you get the spiritual glow from healing frequencies. So every time you step into this work, you are create a field of resonance. You not only hold space for healing masters to facilitate healing for your client, for yourself. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. So I feel it's an answer of, it's if you're asking this question, if your heart is calling, then step in. And my first cohort, you also have an opportunity to go through teachers training twice, second time for free. So if you miss something first time, you're like, oh my God, I wish I went deeper. You can go second round for free. Yeah. Yeah, because I really want for you depth and more opportunity to experience. All right. So, Daphne, I hope I answered that question. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I'll share something with you, beloveds. So, I hesitated to teach anything about money for a long time. Like the first money program that I've ever taught was Spiritual Rainmaker in September. I was like, that's not my talk. I don't know. Do I have anything to say on this topic? This is hilarious. And then my guides were like, Spiritual Rainmaker, go teach this program, go teach this thing about unique prosperity topic, because I kept finding alternatives that were not in alignment with me. There were programs available like Get Rich Bitch or Rich Bitch or Lucky Bitch. And I'm just like, I can't do it. It works for somebody, for me, it doesn't. Can I find a soulful prosperity program? I promise you it ties in into question of how do we teach, right? Then I realized that my astrological placement is Chiron and Taurus, which is all about self-worth, the wounds around security, the wounds around financial stability. And I had an epiphany. Like Beck here is really good with astrology. She probably could like expand on this. I had this epiphany. Who else could teach in the way that I can do about money after going through so many money wounds? So I got my confidence and I was like, you know what? Something unique will come through. And I channeled that course. And it was really awesome. It was really helpful, it was soulful, first version. So sometimes, we are drawn to a topic. So like, am I fully embody this? Or not even embody? Am I ready? Do I need to heal more? But it's like the process of learning and transformation and healing is guiding you to something deeper. So when we heal, yeah, so we hold space for healing for others. Absolutely. Hugely. So if you would ask me even 5 years ago that I would have a spiritual manifestation abundance program, I'd be like, no, I don't think it's my topic. It was my topic all this time. Um, so Anna says, what's your view is the difference between energetic boundaries and protection? Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, think about quantum entanglement, Anna. It's very easy to take on energy of a difficult client. It's very easy because we're very empathic. We care about our clients, right? Everybody on the call, if you work with clients, you care about people. So your empathy is just like you're reaching out and your aura opens. And that's when the energy sticks to you. So energetic boundaries and energetic protection, I would also put energetic clearing, right? I had sessions with a psychic guide. He's an elder in his 80s and he just does tarot readings. And he was like, make sure you put your hands in the water every single day, water with salt, salt, salt. So he kept telling me salt, salt, salt. So on the physical level, to support your body with salt, right? To clear energies, but also practicing energetic clearing every single day. Anna, I have noticed a massive difference when I actually became disciplined. I was like, the reason I feel so fatigued and energetically impacted by the work that I love with all my heart is because I am so exposed and I'm not practicing consistently. So I just began dialing that in, right? Morning, energetic protection, evening, clearing, midday, tea contemplation, become one with the field, right? So when we do this work of energetic work, we get to take care of ourselves so we don't overextend. Yeah. Yeah. And then difficult clients are karmic clients, right? They're absolutely karmic clients. There is some kind of a karma. And or any client can become challenging at a time because if you support somebody to go through a threshold to a new self, and there's a lot of fear comes up, it's natural. So every person can have a very difficult moment in any container. It's normal. And that's why you and I train to become skilled, energetic guides. Like, how do you hold the field? How do you not collapse? How do you not overly become overly responsible? Yeah, things like that. Any other questions? What's your plans for Friday, everybody? Might as well to have this opportunity to say, if you would like to learn energetic wisdom from the land of deep mysticism, we have a beautiful, beautiful journey to Peru, to Mama Peru. Her energy is so nourishing and so soulful. And so one retreat is in April, another retreat is in September. If you'd like to learn more, just reach out to me, DM me. It's all over my pages. Oh yeah, Sarah says, did you see my I did not see it, Sarah. Sorry, the questions are all the way out there. Energy used with animals, do you feel that's not quite what you do? I actually use the energy work with Gracie, with my kitty. I activate the healing hands, this technique called the hands of light, healing hands, and I work with her. So it's really cool to do that. Energy works great with, and they're great practice companions, right? They're really great practice companions. And just a little bit of my background, I've been, oh my goodness, just like many of you, it's a past life ability, right? We bring these gifts through past lives. And but 4 years ago, I was initiated into a rising star healing modality. And it comes from an ancient temple of truth from ancient Egypt tradition. That was a very powerful experience. It's all the ascended masters, such as Babaji and Jeshua and Melchizedek and Hilarion and Sai Baba, all these masters in one lineage called the Rising Star. And that really changed the energetic capacity that I am able to hold now, And then I also channel a lot of energetic support from my parallel life in Atlantis. I come from the lineage of mental mediums and mental healers. So one of the kind of speciality for me is healing of the mind. When our mind gets twisted on something or can't let go, I channel the healing techniques that come from Atlantean pathway, because they were truly masters of what our mind is capable of when it's in service to the heart. So just a little bit of background. And then I've been apprenticing with visionary plants, the shamanic path, just sitting and drinking and the plant wisdom and being initiated in deep humility experiences where you look at your ego or you look at all of your attachments and you clear it out, little by little, you clear it out and you come back for more, you clear it out, and then eventually you say, oh my gosh, it's time to be of service. And the service path begins. So that's a little bit of a background. And just like many of you, I love modalities. I love different healing modalities, healing techniques. What I see for the collective, what I intuit for the collective, we have entered the age of energy. And this is also comes to us with Paramahansa Yogananda and his predictions of yugas, that right now in a Dvapara Yuga, which is going to be for the next 2,000 years, we're in ascending. No matter how dramatic things seem, we are ascending. And people have become more and more curious about, oh my God, I'm an energy being. I can change my reality by changing my energy. So there is going to be a hunger for transformational education. You see, we don't have a problem with information. We are flooded with information. But that creates another problem. People don't know how to process it and how to apply it. So we need human connection. We heal in groups. And this is why when more and more teachers say, okay, I'm going to help people take this information that they are swimming, don't know how to apply, how to like actually make it practical. And I'm gonna show them simple rituals, because a transformation, healing transformation, is an experience, right? A healing modality. And then it becomes a part of your life as a practice. And the practice is what does the results. You stay with it, you stay with it, and you stay with it. It's like yoga. It's like it's a healing yoga. And then when the healing and repair happens, what I have observed, your genius begins to come online. Your blueprint begins to get activated, and your energy becomes more and more magnetic. Yes, darlings, if you would like to go, absolutely, I totally understand. It's probably late for my European crew, but that's just something else that wanted to come through, is for us as energy transformers, energy healers. I think Dava was asking me, does your program container gives guidance on marketing this to others? I'm more than happy to do a class on that, because it feels very empowering for me to help healers activate the ability to communicate with conviction and to translate the healing, the value of healing, in a way that people just line up for it. Because everybody wants to feel better, they just don't know how to access it. And usually the challenge is in communication. Here's a great healer with great healing abilities. They don't know how to communicate in a language that this person with their value system says, I'm going to dedicate the time and resources, and I'm going to like discipline my ego, right? Yeah, it's a process. It's really a process. And whenever I struggle to convey the value of particular thing that I do, it always comes down to communication. So I go back to the whiteboard. How else can I say this? Oh, I said it that way. How else can I say it, right? So yeah, the words, think about manifestation. Manifestation has two parts. Do you want to know what that is? First part, communication. You actually get to declare and to speak and to voice it, right? So if you're around me, I'll be like, let's go on the video together. Communication and then action. So here's energetics. You align your energy. It's not fighting you. You're fully coherent. But next step, your angel will not speak for you. Your spirit guide will not write the webinar. That's your job, right? That's really fun. Okay, we could go deep into that. I think it's really fun. Dear souls, thank you so much for being here with me. If some of you have one more question, I will take it. Such a beautiful weather. We had such rain. Yeah, lots of Europeans on a call. My European crew. Yeah. Hey, Mitch. You're welcome. Hey, Sarah. Thank you so much. Dava, thank you so much. Mitch. Yeah, I did, Mitch. I totally made an offer. And it was beautiful. I'll follow up with the email, but yeah, I made an invitation, and I invited people to come to certification training. Hey, Becky, good to see you, darling. Yeah, good to see you. And Mitch, you were right about my sound. The sound wasn't connected to the camera. I used the camera. Now it's fantastic, right? You gotta surrender, trust the process. All right, dear friends, thank you very much. Oh yeah, the sun is just so amazing. Thank you for your presence. I hope I ignited something beautiful in what you see is possible and what is also our sacred responsibility, right? I think there is a part of this, we're each going to be called to a different form of repairing the world. First, we repair ourselves. And then the natural desire is, what is my part in repairing the world? And we each have a different form of how we do it, right? Some people write books, some people march in parades, some people volunteering in many different organizations, some people write beautiful music and bring beauty to the world. And that's their contribution. That's their form of repair. Some people feel called to heal and to be healers and to be teachers. So I, my intention was for all of us to see the possibilities of energy healing, energy medicine, and how we can use these magnificent tools to repair the world together. Because this is not a task for one person. This is a task for all of us who feel the call. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will see you in your inbox with the follow-up email.